banks and money rule the world. I agree. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing.
Maybe for some people, money is their thing, but I don't see money that way, and I don't see banks that way.
I agree with this. I totally think so. I think money literally makes the world spin. Everything is bought by special interest and, ruled by money. And someone has to pay for everything. So I would say yes.
Unfortunately, I very much agree with that.
No, I disagree with that. I don't think they do. I think as integral as money is, I wouldn't say they rule the world.
Yeah, I do. I believe that money in this day and age is generally everything, and people with the money, they're the one that, have the most influence.
To a degree, I agree.
I'll just say disagree. I'm not entirely sure why, but I disagree.
I agree. I think money makes the world go round, whether it should or not. It's a true fact.
I feel like I want to say I disagree. I feel like maybe the actual reality is that might be true. Yeah, so I'm going to say I agree. I think money rules the world.
I agree. I wouldn't say they rule the world, but I think they are one of the biggest institutions that makes the world go round.
Politicians are corrupt. No, very few of them are. Some are. Yes, virtually all of them. There's absolutely corruption. I think that's unavoidable. But in terms of the current government, it also feels like it's changing for the better, and that's quite nice to see, perhaps.
So I think that some are, but that's more or less a way of the world. You're always going to have those people.
Depends on your definition of corruption, I suppose. Me personally, I would say that some are. I would say some politicians are corrupt.
I like to think the best of people. I like to think they're not. But, you hear stories.
There's definitely a level of corruption in politics.
I would say some are.
Some are. I'll settle on some. I want to believe that everybody in Parliament and politicians in general who are elected there via a democratic system are honest people who have ultimately the best intentions at heart for their local councils.
I feel like some are. What I do know is that, in India, politicians are very corrupt. And so we're very lucky not to live with that level of corruption.
No, very few of them are. I feel like I don't know enough
to say that they are corrupt.
I wouldn't really agree with that. I think that there's all these sort of systems in place that sort of make sure that kind of thing doesn't really happen.
I don't think corrupt. For them to be corrupt, there'd have to be incentive for them to be corrupt.
Do you agree with the following assertion that politicians no longer have any power? No, I disagree. I believe that at the end of the day, they have the...
Money?
Not necessarily the money, but they have the right to make laws, but they are very much dictated by the public, which is how it should be.
I disagree. I think politicians absolutely have the power to change things. I think in recent history in New Zealand, there have been politicians that have made real change in our country. I disagree with that.
I think they do. A little bit less power on the part of politicians might be nice, and maybe something that is more community-driven or in which the Greater New Zealand has more say.
Disagree. They don't have overarching power, which is good. And that's because there's so many other people who are part of the decision-making process, and that's also being a democracy and having different chairs in Parliament.
Politicians no longer have any power. I think they have less power than they have had in the past.
I hope they have power. That's what they're there for, right?
They still have power.
Yeah, they still have heaps of power.
Heaps of power. Some. Well, it seems like that they can be semi-controlled by
Is it more in
corporate
America,
organisations. Oh no, but is it happening here?
I don't know, probably.
Exactly.
They have less influence now, and I would blame sensationalism for that. Everything's House of Cards now because everyone wants it to be, because otherwise it's boring.
Have you ever belonged to a political organization? Yes, and I like it. No, but I'd like to try. Yes, but I wouldn't do it again. No, and I'm not interested. I think we have been with Shakti and all this stuff as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quite politically driven, both of us.
Yeah, yes, and we enjoy it.
Yeah, we love it.
No, and I'm not interested. I'm not very into organized political echo chambers, I suppose.
No, but I like to try just because my grandfather is a politician.
I don't think so, no. But I'm definitely interested. It's definitely something I'd like to get into more.
It's a weird thing for me because I've got a very heavy interest in politics, but I consider myself quite non-partisan.
I'm not overly invested in politics personally. I'm not really that informed in that area, so I haven't been part of a political organisation.
I did join the Young Nats group at university, but I sort of did that on a whim. I never really paid any attention. I've never been to anything. We just joined for the free stickers. So I have, but I probably wouldn't do it again.
Might build one. might make one day, fund one.
Ooh, can't tell you guys that one.
No, but I'd like to try, I suppose. I would say no, but I'd like to try, especially after the last election, because I was kind of a fan of the Māori Party, and when they got voted out, I was like, oh, that's so sad. I want to join and help. I haven't yet, though. Maybe I would in the future, but then work and real life commitments happen, so.
Politics is great, and I always chime in, but I'm one of those voters and people who is very conscious of things when they're a thing and when it comes to choosing the right person. But in terms of following it all of the time, no.
No, but I'd like to try. I think politics are really interesting.
Nah, I'm not really that interested. Nah, kind of just stay away from all that, I guess. Yeah. Let them do their job, and I'll just do the census every now and then and vote for who I want to be in power. Yeah.
No, but I'd like to try, just because I'm pretty open with anything. Like, I don't know, I'm up to this point in life where I'm like, yep, sure. Yeah.
Do you trust in politics? 0 on a scale of 0 to 3, 0 not at all, 3 totally.
Do I trust in politics? Oh, 1, 2.
Between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I trust in the discourse that politics allows us to have, and I think it's an important institution for us to be able to form governments and stuff. So I would say 3.
Outside of New Zealand, it's not at all. But seeing the sort of Labour Greens coalition and what they've been doing over the last few months was in New Zealand has brought a lot of trust back to politics for me, at least personally.
I'd lean towards a 1, and I guess that kind of comes down to my skepticism of politicians.
Again, don't really have much of an interest in politics. I'm going to say about a 1, it's not really anything that I'm too concerned about.
Probably would say 2 or 3. That could sound naive because I don't really know a whole lot about politics.
1.
Yeah, 1.
On a good day.
I'm going to live in an ignorant 1.75. I'm fairly confident, but I don't know enough about either end of the spectrum to sway me either side. I just know this country works. We have a great leader now, and she's doing lots of really cool stuff.
A 1.5. In the middle. Just because I'm so not into politics, and kind of scares me that I don't really know, really what's going on. So at the same time, I don't really have that trust just because I'm not aware of things.
A 1.5, probably more a 1. I think we should be really discerning about our politics and the way that governments and people in charge run our country. So I really trust in Jacinda Ardern, our Prime Minister. But I think we should be discerning about that as well.